Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Today, I'm here to talk about one of the world's biggest environmental problems, and one that is often overlooked by many environmentalists and regular people alike. We think that our faucets have a never-ending water supply, when in fact, water is a very limited resource which we have to conserve. Coupled with our rapid urbanization, water is becoming a luxury that some people do not have access to. Cities have always been centered around water. You would assume that the Egyptians would fail due to their environment being a desert, but they not only survived, but prospered in this environment. This is because of the Nile. It supplied them with water, and each year the river would overflow. It would fertilize the surrounding land on the riverbank and provide new farming land. The Nile provided food through fish and birds surrounding the river, and the river is also the highway of the ancient world. At the very heart of Egyptian civilization was the Nile. Additionally, the ancient city of Carthage was one that survived and even thrived with their growing population. In fact, it was the largest city at 300 BC. Their handle on water resources and their ability to curb their urbanization was something that was revolutionary for its time. As cities have grown more and more technologically advanced, they are now able to accommodate more people. In 2007, the majority of people lived in urban cities instead of the rural farmlands. In fact, the world's largest city, Tokyo, Japan, has more than 37 million inhabitants. For the first time in history, cities are experiencing rapid growth and cannot keep up. Cities are getting larger and larger, and their impact on the environment is also becoming greater. With these cities expanding so rapidly, the need to supply all people with one of life's most basic necessities, water, is becoming a huge problem, as the infrastructure in these cities cannot keep up with the growing demand. With over 70% of the world's water going to agriculture, cities need to use their water more efficiently. In these growing metropolises, many cities are losing their water through a cocktail of unfortunate water problems. In many third world countries, such as the Philippines, leakages and illegal piping are huge contributors to the overall lack of water in their three metro areas, Manila, Cebu, and Davao. In fact, over 70% of their water was lost in 1997 due to a combination of illegal piping, inefficiency, and leakages. This is not just a third world problem either. The city of Houston, Texas loses 15% of their total water supply just through faulty infrastructure. Also, with 1 billion people living in squatter settlements and in urban slums, it is tough to provide these people with an adequate water supply. In developed areas, some even within our own country, balancing the agricultural sector of water usage with the water use of a growing urban society poses many problems, especially in the dry and arid southwest United States. Now the situation may seem quite dire, but there are two innovative solutions that can help solve this problem. In order to make better use of water resources, cities should form partnerships with farmers. This would allow cities to have access to more water while also promoting farmers to be more efficient with their water use. One city that has done this is San Antonio, Texas. Throughout their existence, farmers and the city were both taking all of their water from the Edwards Aquifer. When more water was needed to support the growing population, it made the springs run dry near the aquifer, which was detrimental to the ecosystem. In 1993, the Edwards Aquifer Society was created and regulated the use of the Edwards Aquifer for both farmers and city use. In order to ensure that the springs in such an arid area did not run dry, they allocated permits for water, giving farmers 6,000 cubic meters of water per hectare per year. Farmers could sell or lease their share of water under this system. This incentivized farmers to be as efficient with their water as possible. Farmers were able to grow their crops using less water and make a little extra money on the side from selling their water rights to buyers, such as the city of San Antonio. This has led to San Antonio getting extra 84 million cubic meters of water just by buying it from farmers, and this water now supplies the city of San Antonio with 10% of their total water supply. Additionally, with the city's innovative water conservation methods, the water usage of city residents had dropped 50% per person. Overall, this model can and should be used by cities such as Phoenix, Dubai, Lisbon, Portugal, and any city that has both an agricultural component and an urban component, along with a shared water supply. Now you might be thinking that a plan like this would break down in places that need it the most, such as those in slums and developing countries. The assumption is, unfortunately, correct, as not all places have the economic capacity to implement a plan such as this one, but innovative solutions can provide ways around these high hurdles. One city that has been thinking outside of the box when it comes to water resources is Manila, Philippines. Through a World Bank-sponsored project titled the Manila Third Sewerage Program, the Philippines rebuilt piping infrastructure, connected more homes with direct piping of fresh, clean water, and held an educational campaign to clean up Manila Bay, which had been destroyed by improper waste disposal. Additionally, through the Worldwide Foundation's Water for the Poor program, which installed meters to metro areas in the Philippines to properly observe the amount of water that was used, allowed local and federal governments to monitor any illegal piping. Through both of these projects, the Philippines' three major metro areas have reduced their loss from 70% in 1997 to only 12 in 2012. Interestingly enough, a city such as Houston, which suffers from leaks, can implement a similar plan to combat their leakage as well. Although this solution may be expensive and admittedly basic, the costs will pay for themselves over time, as cities are now investing in their future instead of trying to repair their past mistakes. Partnerships such as the one in San Antonio can help first world cities struggling to manage both their urban and rural sectors. For example, by 2020, a similar partnership in San Diego will provide that city with over 35% of their total water. Revamped piping systems will certainly be the main factor in ensuring that even in the poorest of places, some communities will have some access to some type of water. The difference will be very palpable in cities with aging infrastructure, as monetary losses due to inefficiencies will be cut out. All in all, progressive thinking is the best way to approach a problem like this. It is apparent that a forward-thinking approach to water conservation, treatment, and distribution is the only way to solve this problem. The population in cities is growing, and there is little anyone can do about it. Yet supplying all cities with a necessity of life is possible and should be among one of the top global priorities. Basic solutions such as renovating infrastructure, creating a new market for water, opening up communication between the urban sector and rural sector of a city, and responsible water conservation tactics on an individual level will do a wealth of good for a globe that is so plagued by this issue. Like ancient Egypt and Carthage, we are still a society that is heavily dependent on water, and as long as we continue to do so, we must find some way to fix these problems. This solution cannot fully solve the world's water problems, but it is certainly a necessary step to take in order to reach the final goal of a water-rich society. Thank you.
Yeah.